So everyone has been asking the question from 2019 all the way to 1917. What are the best basketball shoes of all time? And this list is compiled of shoes that were released from 1917, the beginning of the era of basketball, until 2019. Now, also we have people that have worn these shoes, players, athletes, as well as people who have made shoes for a living. So let's get this list started. The link for this video will be in the description. So according to Focus, these are the 17 best basketball sneakers of all time. Number one wouldn't be number one without the Air Jordan 1. Undeniably the greatest basketball shoe of all time. It's the style that made rocking court-ready sneakers in the streets cool. The silhouette that's a favorite among ballers and sneakerheads alike. The Peter Moore design look dropped in 1985, ready for the hardwood, and in the decades after its release has become an icon in fashion. More than 30 years after its release, people still get hyped for a new Air Jordan 1 release. So without a shadow of a doubt, the Air Jordan 1 is the greatest basketball shoe ever. Now, number two is the Air Jordan 11. If not for the Air Jordan 1, a case could be made for the Air Jordan 11 being the greatest Michael Jordan signature shoe of all time. The iconic style designed by Tinker Hatfield dropped in 1995, and a baller rocked them during the Chicago Bulls' historic 72-10 season, which culminated in his fourth career NBA championship. So we saw the new Tinkers in 2018 and 2019, some of Tinker Hatfield's work. This is during the era of greatness for Tinker Hatfield. This shoe defined him. Until this day, I don't think he would ever top this design. This is probably top 3 Jordan of all time, as well as the number 2 greatest basketball shoe of all time. Mike did so much in this shoe, so can't say nothing about that. Number 3 will be the Air Jordan 14, also designed by Tinker Hatfield. Was the final signature shoe Michael Jordan would rock during with the Chicago Bulls jersey on. It's also the style he would win the 98 NBA Finals in. We all know about the last championship of his storied career. Aside from the memories his fans have of the shoe, its sports car theme aesthetics were also appealing. The design was inspired by the Ballers Ferrari F355 F1. Now, the last shot color scheme has also been put onto the Jordan 1 and various other Jordans. So you can't go wrong with this shoe. Mike made his last shot with it. Great shoe to ball in. So number 4. The Reebok question, and number 5 would be the answer. I'll get to that now. So Reebok knew it wanted NBA icon Allen Iverson on its ambassador roster so much that the brand tasked Scott Hewitt with designing a shoe with the baller in mind before Iverson even committed to leave college and turn pro. What the brand came up with was the question, a stellar look with an eye-catching patent leather toe cap, which was released to the masses in '96. We all know what AI was doing in these shoes, bruh. Ridiculous. And the answer was the follow-up. No slump year here. So you had the question, then you had the answer. And released in '97, the highlight of the shoe was Reebok's acclaimed DMX cushioning system. Also greatness. Iverson was killing everybody in these shoes. So if you playing ball and you haven't played in a pair of these shoes I'm naming, you really slipping. So next we have, of course, the Nike Air Zoom generation. Nike is still making signature sneakers for icon LeBron James, who continues to dominate the court today. But the best shoe for the baller is still his first. King James rocked the Air Zoom generation during his first ever game in October '03. Now, 14 years later, those same fans and legion of new ones went just as crazy when the Swoosh dropped a retro release of the look for the first time. So These are considered LeBron James' best shoes, and for a lot of reasons. Now, we all know, I'll say in the mid 2000s, the fashion, shoes were being made strictly for fashion. Not strictly, but, lifestyle / baller shoes. But these shoes were made to play ball in. And I'll be damned if LeBron didn't ball till he fell in those when he first came out. So next we have the Steph Currys. Now we all know Steph Curry made Under Armour relevant in the basketball marketplace not long after leaving Nike for the Baltimore-based athletic brand. Under Armour created the Curry One, the first ever signature shoe for the baller, and it quickly became a hit with both hoop fans and sneaker addicts, and is special to Curry and the label. He wore the model en route to his first championship in 2015 against LeBron James and the Cavaliers. A lot of mixed reactions when this shoe was released, but it was made for you to ball in. It wasn't made for a lifestyle shoe, but it still looked dope on feet regardless. And you got to give respect to the Curry One, father to son. So now we're going to get nostalgic and we're going to go old school with the Converse. Yep, Converse standout hoop shoe of the 80s was the Weapon, which debuted in 86. It was worn by legends of the game such as Bird, Magic, and Isaiah Thomas, who all starred in a commercial promoting the shoe and rap, with Bird's MVP line still in the show. So if you guys play live or 2K, you're bound to see these shoes pop up. So these are the OGs, bruh, for the baby boomers and the millennials. These are the shoes that started pretty much it all for ballers, bruh. The Converse, believe it or not. But Converse, more than a century old. The Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star was the on-court shoe worn by early NBA legends. It made its debut in 1917 under the All-Star name, which would change later with the addition of the Chucks, which we wear out here in the West Coast. Chuck Taylor, a former pro baller who could go on to work for Converse as a salesman of the shoes. See, I'm putting y'all on some G today. A lot of y'all don't even know where the Chucks come from. You just learned something. Okay, next up we got the Adidas KB8, now referred to as the Crazy 8. The Adidas KB8, released in 97, was NBA icon Kobe Bryant's debut signature shoe. Before the KB8, Kobe wore the EQT Elevation and Inline shoe. The bold, eye-catching look matched his tenacity on the court and became a favorite among sneakerheads and ballers alike. So what I'm about to show you is something that everyone was craving for, and that is a picture of Kobe Bryant in a pair of Adidas, or for those who know the other lingo, Adidas. Here it is, Kobe rocking them Adidas. Yeah, them Crazy 8s. We so used to him wearing Nike, we trip out with him wearing Adidas. Once again, there's Kobe playing against the Rockets, and there's Kobe wearing those Adidas. Yep, and they are some of the greatest shoes to wear if you want to get on the court. Next, we have the Nike Zoom Kobe One. Kobe has a lot of great basketball shoes, but this one, after switching brands from Adidas to Nike, the swoosh created a shoe for NBA star Kobe Bryant that will become a classic. The Zoom Kobe One was introduced in 2005 and years later hit the market again in Protro form, boasting the same aesthetics but with updated Nike tech. And we know Kobe is big on that Nike tech. He likes to put different types of tech in his shoes, and these were considered the greatest that Kobe ever made. Good luck getting your hands on these. Now we get into the Fila joints. Grant Hill made some shoes for a brand with strong tennis heritage. Fila's basketball range in the 90s was stellar, and its Grant Hill 2 years later named the 96 was its best silhouette. The simple design, aesthetics, and patent leather on the upper made the second signature look for the NBA legend Grant Hill a hit. Now you may see these pop up today because they re-released these. Believe it or not, people, these are some great shoes to ball in. Now we'll get into the Shaq Attack. Big men in basketball typically don't move shoes in retail, but consumers love the early looks for the NBA icon Shaq O'Neal, especially the Shaq Attack, which was released in '92. That same passion was alive and well 25 years later when Reebok brought it back. Look at the Shaq Attack. I got a pair of these. So the pump, for people that didn't know, it was a time the pump back in the 90s were retailed at like $200 just to get any types of pump, and especially the Shaq Attack pumps, they were coming out like $180, $190, and you have to try these on. They are hella comfy, and when you're on that court, you really think they're making you jump higher when they put in that air into that each pump that you press on that ball. Now let's get to the Ewings. Everybody know somebody that has had a pair of Ewings or got a pair now. They re-released them. They're still making money off Ewings because Ewings look so dope. But one thing you can't sleep on is they are great basketball shoes. Now we're getting to the Air Penny 1. Aside from having arguably the best ad campaign in all of sports with Chris Rock co-starring as Lil Penny, Anthony Hardaway has some of the most beloved signature shoes in the 90s, and until this day they are still fresh as fuck. I would rock a pair of pennies on court any day. These are made for balling, to kill people. Just pure balling shoes right here. The Air Penny 1. So we're gonna get to the next shoes. We all know about the foams. Everybody today are rocking the foams, just like, you know, a lifestyle shoe. But this shoe made for Penny Hardaway was released in '97. It still has legions of fans to this day. Mike Bibby rocked them, but this shoe is made for the court, and it is one of the greatest basketball shoes ever to play in. And for people that don't know nothing about Penny Hardaway, Google him on YouTube and just watch him get down in these shoes, bruh. The Nike Air More Tempo. Pippen all day. That's all I think about when I see these shoes. I was telling some kid the other day about how Pippen was rocking these in the 90s, and they just couldn't believe it. Yeah, Scottie Pippen, these are his shoes. But for people that didn't know, Scottie Pippen wore them because the bold look was destined to be a classic. They were released in '96, but people still love these shoes to this day. And Pippen proved that they were made for the court because he was winning multiple championships while playing in them. Yes sir, yes sir. Now I know this list will be talked about and people will probably say you're missing this, you're missing that, but when it comes to shoes on the court, there hasn't been any other shoes to compete with these shoes as far as players saying these shoes are great and they have done something for the NBA or for players that has changed the game. So what do you guys think about the best basketball sneakers of all time according to Footwear News? Like this video, leave your comments, and subscribe. Later.